Welcome to the 14th episode of 23 Real, 20 minutes of real talk with real producers in real estate, brought to you by Ohio Real Title and hosted by me, Rick Capretta. We've got a great guest on the show here today whose accolades include being a 30-year veteran here in real estate. For the first 15 years, she managed a couple different real estate companies. She's taught classes and sold real estate during all that time. She's counseled many individuals, leading them to wealth strategy, which starts with home ownership. She's a recipient of several awards during her career, including number of units, volume, satisfied clients, and mentor of the year. And if you ask her in her words, she would say mentoring is her strong suit. So, and she also just joined a new brokerage where she's going to be one of the new mentors over there. So I'd like to welcome to the show, Latonya Oliver of Home Smart Real Estate Momentum. How are you today, Tanya?
Hi, Rick. How are you?
Good. What's shaking?
I miss you.
I know. This is ridiculous, this COVID thing. We'll go meet in a parking lot and beat each other up a little bit.
I think we have more space at a park.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I would say about 5,000 feet apart. So Tanya's been busy. She's been on the circuit. She just was on another show. Tanya's going to start her own show too here on, I believe, Facebook. Any thoughts on what you're going to call your show yet?
It's called Tuesdays with Tanya.
Okay.
I'm lying. That's not what it's called. It's
just kidding.
It's Tuesday tips for home ownership.
Okay, cool. And who's it going to be targeted to? Is it more of an agent show or is it more of a home buyer or home seller show?
Home buyer or home seller show. Giving them tips on how to get started with buying and how to get started with selling. Because, I mean, we got a lot of stuff, different things going on with lending due to COVID. And a lot of people do not know how to start buying a house. They just don't know where to start.
I agree. And is this going to be geared more towards the first time or haven't done it in a long time or a little bit of everybody?
Little bit of everybody.
Okay, cool. I think I should probably also be doing something very similar to that. But mine, of course, be geared more towards agents and how to make us happy on our side. And of course, we have to try to make you guys happy too sometimes.
I think that's a great idea. A lot of agents that have come to business say, I'll give it, we'll say 5 years to be safe. Mm-hmm. Do not really understand the strategies and the operation of title. And then you can explain, hey, yeah, we recorded because we got funded, but you won't see it on the auditor until, I don't know, what is it taking, 5 days now?
Nowadays, it's taking a little bit of time. Yeah, it just depends.
Okay. But a lot of agents, you know, when I came in a while ago, I won't say how many years. Well, you already said it. Almost 30 years.
You told me.
We had tours to title and go through the county and see how the recorder goes in line and time, stamp, and date. Right. You know, then you won't have a realtor say, so they signed. Did we record yet? Like 5 minutes later.
Right. Of course. Right. And now county, the recorder's closed to the public, like you know, because you've had a friend who tried, I think, to go down and record something, and it's just different times. It's about as weird as it could humanly possible get. But there are some things I hope continue, like how the underwriters are letting us say we're closed before it does record. I mean, that's a huge thing, and I think going forward that'd be a huge thing if we're able to do that. Otherwise, that whole waiting till it records sometimes really throws things off. So it buys us a minute. So that's pretty helpful. So yeah, anyway, so as you could tell, Tanya and I have a pretty good rapport together. I've personally been working with her since I started back in October 16. But how long have you worked with Ohio Real Title?
I was thinking about that, and I believe it's been about 15 years.
Oh boy. So pretty much from day one, probably.
Yes.
Were you working with Ryan before he started it, or was it when you were working with a different brokerage, or how did that work out?
I was working with a different rep.
Okay.
And she started with Ryan, and that's how I got pulled into Ohio Real Title.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
Now, obviously, I'm happy and I love it. I like being spoiled, and I like being the boss of my ship. So you guys have my back, and I love it.
You did say ship with a P, right? My audio. Okay, good. I was going to say, I don't want to have to go back and beep anything out.
See, there you go again. Okay, be good.
Tanya's either saying she hates me or that we're just dying laughing. So it's pretty much kind of the balance I want to have with everybody in my life. Either they hate me or love me, but no in between. So
if I hate you a bunch of times, it really does mean I love you.
Yeah, we do have a good time. So, all right. So you said 30 years, which is obviously you've seen a lot here then in this market. And you've talked about the fact you were a manager, you've been a mentor. So why don't you walk us through kind of how you got into it, why you got into it, and how you kind of morphed your career as to where you are now?
Okay, I was pretty much tricked into real estate. Never dreamed about it as a little girl or a teenager. I'm going to be a real estate agent when I grow up.
Right.
What happened is I purchased a house at a young age, under 30, and the broker that sold me my house walked me through a phenomenal buying process. I was one of those that had no clue. He assisted me, held my hand, and back then FHA was super tough because we didn't have the internet. So he had to come to you, write the explanation letters, pick up all your paperwork. So a lot of work was put into it. Finally, I get a house. He and I become very good friends. He calls me I used to be in the insurance industry. Okay. And I worked for Aetna Insurance for years. And then the company went out of business, moved out of state. And I had a little time off. And I was thinking about what am I going to do next? About 6 months after I'm in my house, the broker called me. His name was William E. Jones. We used to have a brokerage in Shaker. Okay. He calls me. He opens up his company and asked if I would come and run his company. Okay. And so I pretended like I knew how to manage a company. And I think he already knew that.
We all do. We all pretend.
He trained me top to bottom in management, admin, and eventually started teaching me how to sell real estate, paid for me to go to school. Nice. And then cut me off of the salary and said, go get your money. And he was an excellent, excellent teacher. And I stayed with him and managed and successfully sold real estate for about 8 or 9 years. Okay. The company ended up dissolving because 100% concept came up. I don't know if you remember Jenny Chicola. Yeah. So there was 100% concept. I was the last one standing at the company because of loyalty. But he had to dissolve, and a bunch of us was at Jenny. She grew, and at that time in the industry, there was not a lot of internet based. So you could run your business, do your thing, get your 100%, and keep it moving. Fast forward, the crash happens. Now you got a lot of bank owned, got a lot of foreclosures, and you got a lot of internet based, and you need a brand name. And after Jenny, I was there, I guess, I want to say 7. I went to Century 21 Premier Properties, which formerly was Remax. And I went to Remax because of David Barr. He used to be in the business for a long time. It's a big bank-owned team. I forget his team name.
Wasn't it Home Run team?
It was Home Run.
Something like that, yeah.
Right. So during my tenure with Century 21 Premier, after Remax went to Century 21, that was a good start, coming in foundationally in the groundwork of the model and helping build the business. You know, I pretty much, I learned a lot of things, was appreciated enough. And then HomeSmart reached out to me. And I said this to you yesterday. I've mentored a lot of agents that even to this day that are not with HomeSmart or wasn't with Century 21. And that's my strong suit. I love mentoring because it's extremely difficult to be a new agent and just out here. It's more than just showing a house, writing a contract, and giving keys. It's a ton of things involved. And at HomeSmart, we have a new agent mentorship program. And the broker there, Marion Drenick and Greg Pernis, the manager, recognized my skills within, I would say, less than 15 minutes of our conversation.
Took them that long?
That's it. That's not that long. And asked that if I would come aboard and be one of 3 other agents that will head up their mentorship program for new agents. The agents can shadow, we'll teach them about purchase agreements, negotiations, just a ton of stuff that'll get them started in like 4 months and
Mm-hmm.
up and running versus like a couple of years where getting out or being lost.
Right. Yeah. And I know I've offered to you, I'd be happy to come on and share any of the title side of that stuff with any of the people you end up mentoring, because there's just too many things to know in this industry. I mean,
Yes.
it is insane. So, so obviously you got into this. It's a strong suit. Why do you think it's so important? And really, what, I guess, where did that passion come from? Is it because you were mentored so well by your original broker?
Absolutely. I shadowed him. Well, first of all, I said, you got me into this, so you're going to show me how to do it. You're going to show me how to make money, and you're going to show me how to last. Every time he got up from his desk to go on an appointment, I literally shadowed him.
Mm-hmm.
Hopped in the car, even if he didn't want me to. I'm like, you're going to teach me. And that's what happened. And I'm very, very grateful.
Gotcha. What's I guess, what's the most gratifying thing about being a mentor?
Understanding that if the agent really is in this, a lot of agents are getting in, a lot of newer ones.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody listening, don't take offense. It's just the truth. They were either a buyer or seller before,
Mm-hmm.
and saw a little bit of what we do and said, oh, I'm going to sell my own houses, or I'm going to buy my own houses. I can be a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so many ins and outs, so much experience, so many things have changed. Real estate changes daily.
Mm-hmm.
If that realtor really has the passion to make it not just work, but a career, then I'm all in it for them to show them how to list.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's brutal. You've probably mentored people or seen people come in that you thought were going to make it and they didn't. There's probably ones that you mentored who you thought had no chance in heck, and they somehow made it. Do you find that there's a certain profile of person that seems to work out best as a real estate agent?
You always trying to get me in trouble.
That's not a trouble question.
That is a trouble question. To me, you gotta love and want and desire for someone to have home ownership. I think the biggest thing I can think of, and I think you said it in your introduction,
Mm-hmm.
the honest beginning to wealth, to begin to gain wealth, is home ownership. And that's what we even have going on now. What drives the economy is home ownership. And I believe back in 08 and 09, a lot of stimulus things were done to stimulate the economy. And that was given towards mainly home ownership. Mm-hmm. So to love to want to bring the next person along, to own homes, investments, commercial property, build their wealth, has to be the passion.
Yeah. And I know plenty of agents who don't own their own house yet. And of course, you have to make money so you can do that. How important do you think it is for an agent to actually go through the home buying process themselves to truly understand what the other side's feeling?
I think that's absolutely 100% necessary, so that you can feel what that other person is going through the process, especially now. It's just so difficult. Yeah, it's tough. And then I'm recognizing, with showings, a lot of the product that we have very little inventory. So good product goes under contract within a day, sometimes a couple of days. Mm-hmm. We're admonished on multiple showings to not overlap the appointments, but we have a lot of our colleagues that want to overlap because it's a ton of us. And right. Then a lot of us try to social distance in that house. And I have noticed the majority wearing masks to protect one another. So, I mean, that's what I'm seeing here lately.
Yeah, that's encouraging.
It's a challenge.
Which is kind of bringing us right into the next topic is what's been the most difficult thing for you personally working through this whole COVID-19 pandemic and the shutdown we had, which thankfully it didn't shut down real estate completely because we would all be gasping for air right now.
Right. Well, I was thinking about this. It's kind of amazing. It's like when COVID was open up and then essential workers were open up to do work, we were more busy. The market is insane.
Right.
And you have a ton of buyers. Our biggest challenge is the limited inventory.
Oh, yeah.
It's a few things I kind of know about that, but I would rather think about it longer than to speak on the lack of inventory. And the biggest challenge to me, I don't really have many problems with the majority of my clients wanting to wear masks. The one thing that was challenging in the beginning, I was super paranoid. I was like, they were calling me the COVID police. My clients were like following me like 2 inches apart when normally we may be in different rooms before COVID. Now they're all up on me like I could protect them from COVID. And in my mind, I'm like, can you back up?
You're the COVID fairy. You just wave a wand and get rid of everything.
You go over by the counter and I'll go towards the dining room.
Yeah, right.
But the biggest one is, you got some agents, I haven't experienced it yet, middle of a deal or at the close of the deal, the buyer has lost their job and due to COVID, because some of the employers cannot handle their overhead and they've had to lay off their employees. So a challenge, sad. I haven't had to do it. I have not experienced it yet, God forbid, but to lose your job due to COVID and at the close of about to get your keys, lose your job and also don't obtain the house.
Right. It's so sad.
Yes, a lot.
And even though, if you look at the numbers, we were almost at like 20% unemployment. And I know it's coming back, but it's still not back. And, just worrying about the economy. I hate to be a worry wart, but that beginning of the first or the second quarter was just abysmal. I mean, even though you said once we were essential, we kept going, there was still that period from about March 15th to April 15th where I think we quickly forget about it because things got so crazy. Once things really started getting into late April, nobody was doing anything. I mean, I couldn't imagine how many hours I would spend in Zoom ever, and which I'd never want to spend that much time again. But, now with the numbers ramping up again, worrying about, what is going to ultimately happen with the economy because it was so terrible. I mean, we'll see. The next 3 months should be interesting. Next 6 months, year. Just keep our fingers crossed. I know today there's the governor's on at 5:30, which I think is the first time he's done that. So that'll be interesting. So just get us into 2021, 2022. I'm done with this. All right. So we'll kind of bring it up.
You're not done. You go on with the flow. I mean, we can't fix it.
Right.
We can't change it. And, just as an example with real estate, it is ever changing. There's so many things that have changed since, let's just say, a year or two.
Right.
And you got to just go with the flow and keep it moving. And, my thing is with COVID, we can't change what has transpired. Looking at the numbers, and I just try to stay focused. I know I can't do everything that we hear on a daily to say stay safe.
Right.
I can only do the best that I can. And I'm hoping that colleagues and clients and family and people that I know will do the same thing, wear masks to protect the next person so that we can keep this moving and prayerfully the virus will subside.
Right. I agree. Hopefully everybody's doing the right thing together most of the time so we can get moving on. So like you said, it is what it is. We're here. Might as well work through it. So, all right, final question. And I think I've got your face. If you want to find Tanya on Facebook, you can go ahead and find her Facebook business page, Latonya Oliver, Home Smart Real Estate Momentum. Just type that into the search bar and you'll be able to find her there. So what is the one thing you want the viewers to go ahead and take away from our discussion today?
You didn't give me an opportunity to think about that since you always do me so wrong and spent like 10 minutes before we got on the phone. I will say this. it is possible to still purchase, to still sell your house. And I kind of want to get away from that part. I want to say, everybody just kind of stay prayerful and as good as spirits as you can, because this is called the new normal. I hear people saying, when this is over, it's not over. And to just ask within yourself to become adjusted and acclimated to the new normal and do the best that you can and care about the next person in every phase of life. And we should be okay through this journey.
I agree. And that's some good words. Be a good person, adjust, and let's get through this thing together. And call Latonya if you need to buy or sell some real estate. So Tanya,
don't forget to wear your mask.
Yeah, of course. Should have put my mask on for our interview here today. All right. Well, look, I really want to thank you. Love spending time with you. I do miss seeing you. Hopefully we get an opportunity to run into each other here sooner than later. But again, thank you very much for being on the show here today.
I'm coming out to your house in the 90s for the pool.
There's no pool, but I'll get a baby pool and fill it up. We'll have a cocktail. It'll be a good time.
All right. Thank you, Rick.
All right. Take care.
Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.